Well, the Connected Communities project seeks to answer several different questions at once. Partly it's a response to the community policy over the last 20 years. Partly it's a sort of answer to current climate of economic austerity. And partly it seeks to inform the emerging idea of the big society from the coalition government. I suppose the most important thing to say about this project is that it's exploratory. You could say if communities are the answer, what is the question? And for us, the questions include, how do you get more for less? The classic more for less agenda. You need more because there's aging population and increasing demands on public services, but you need to do it with less because the money is kind of running out, or at least for a few years that's the case. I suppose theoretically it's grounded in notions of social capital, which is a very contested term, but the idea that relationships matter, that people matter, and that by and large we can do more with our social capital than we currently do. So in areas where financial capital is tight, ideally you should get more money, but in lieu of that, make more of your social assets, make more of what's available to you. That includes the skills of your neighbours, that includes jointly looking after children, it means car sharing, various things like that. We're using a technique called social network analysis to make sense of social networks, particularly in New Cross Gate in South East London. And the point of doing that is that we think that networks are kind of untapped resource. It's more of a hypothesis than a fact. It was something we're working on trying to show. And one of the values of social network analysis is actually it gives you, rather than the vision of the big society, it actually gives you a visual, if you like, of a particular people connecting in particular ways. And we find in some of our exploratory research and from some sort of analogous examples, that if you show people their networks, if you show people, look, this is who you are, this is how you're embedded, these are the connections you have, that in itself increases sort of pro-social behaviour. And we're hoping to sort of test that more deeply in year 2 of our project. The core of this project, I suppose, is a recasting of communities in network terms. It's about saying community is not just a geographic notion, and by focusing on it exclusively in terms of areas, you're missing out on a lot. Think of community instead of communities of interest, communities of association, communities of identity, communities of ethnicity, and you find that actually community plays out in a much more networked way. And then there's the issue of hidden wealth. David Halpern, who spoke here at the RSA recently, spoke a lot about hidden wealth, and it's to do with care-based exchanges. So if your neighbour helps to pick up your child from school, that doesn't show up on the economic indicators, but actually it's a huge part of the social fabric that allows us to enjoy a certain level of well-being. Trying to make more of that kind of hidden wealth, make it more vivid and make it more tractable. And then finally, as I said earlier, the big society is kind of up for grabs. And one thing we think is that the Connected Community project has a unique chance to actually make it quite tangible. Because if you want your society to be big, you need some sort of metric for that, some sort of measurement. And we can actually show, through a process of network weaving, how you go from a relatively disconnected, fragmented community to one that is much more cohesive and cooperative. And that's what we're trying to do here.